Assalamualaikum and hello. This video we presenting to you about the law of logic. So, what is the law of logic? The law of logic are rules used to analyze, manipulate and simplify logical statement in order to determine their true values and logical equivalent. We will use this method when we get a long statement or the statements which consist of more than 3 primitive statements. Then a big truth table will be built. In mathematics, the law of logic plays an important role in ensuring that arguments and proof are valid, consistent, and free from contradiction. Understanding the law of logic is essential in developing clear and systematic thinking, especially in solving mathematical problems.
Today, I'm gonna talk about law of logic. The first law is law of double negation. Law of double negation happen when a statement having a double negation. So when this happen, we can cancel the negation. For example, not P. We can cancel the negation and get a P. The next law is De Morgan law. De Morgan law happen when a compound statement have a negation. So when this happen, we can factorize and when factorize, we must change the symbol. For example, not bracket P or Q. We factorize, we get not P and not Q. Next law is commutative law. Commutative law, we can use it and by changing the statement, changing the position of statement. For example, P or Q, we can change to Q or P. The next law is associative law. Associative law happen when we want to change the bracket. For example, P or bracket Q or R. So we can change it to be P or Q in bracket or R. The rule is outside the bracket and inside the bracket have the same symbol.
The next law is distributive law. Distributive law happen when a statement make a compound statement. So when this happen, we can factorize. For example, P and bracket Q or R. So when we factorize, we get bracket P and Q or bracket P and R. The next law is idempotent law. Idempotent law happen when both statement is the same statement. So when this happen, we can simplify to get a single statement. For example, P or P, when we simplify, we get P.
Okay. I will continue to explain the law of logic table. And number 7 is identity law, which is the statement is P or false implies P, or P and T implies P. And another law is inverse law, which is P or negation P will get T, or P and negation P will get F. Another law is domination law, which is P or T implies T, or P and force implies force. And number 10 is absorption law, which is P or bracket P and Q bracket will get a P. And another law is definition of implication, which is the statement is bracket P implies Q bracket will get negation P or Q. The another law is contrapositive law, which is bracket P implies Q, bracket will get negation Q implies negation P. The last law is biconditional identity law, which is P biconditional Q will get bracket P implies Q, bracket and bracket Q implies P, bracket. That's all for the table. The table law of logic will use for the another question. That's all.
Okay, now I will explain about how to do the question of law of logic. Okay, now in my hand I have two example. So I will proceed to example 1. The question asks us to simplify in bracket P or Q and not in bracket not P and Q. So for the first step, the first highlight I use is not in bracket not P and Q. So we will use De Morgan law. The statement will become not P or not Q. For the second steps, we will use law of double negation. So the statement will become P or not Q. For the third step, if we can see that there have two P for different bracket, so we will use distributive law, but we use for factorization. So the statement will become P or in bracket Q and not Q. Next, as we can see, they have Q and not Q. So we will use inverse law. So the statement in bracket will become false or F. So we have P or F, which means we can conclude that only P using identity law. Okay, for the second example, the question asks us to prove that not in bracket R or S implies not S is equivalent to T, which is true or tautology. So the first step is we can use definition of implication to make double negation in bracket R or S or not S. For the second step, we can use law of double negation. So the expression will get in bracket R or S or not S. For the third step, we can use associative because we can see that they have same symbols, which is or. So we can change the bracket, so we get R or in bracket S or not S. Okay. Next, we can use inverse law because we saw that S and not S, which is S or not S. So the compound statement we get tautology or true. For the last step, R or true, we can use domination because we can see that or R or T, which means true. So the last statement is true. So the statement is equivalent to T, which is tautology. So we already proved that. Okay, for the
Hello, my name is Shafiq. Here is a few recommendations from me to study on this chapter. First, we need to understand the concept. We should be focusing more on conceptual mastery rather than memorizing it. Memorization alone does not help when solving new or complex problems. Moreover, we also can have clearer definition with some examples because logic is applied in problem solving. Second, we can use truth table and symbolic representation. These help us provide clearer work in progress and reduces mistakes. We can use this method even the work in progress is long, but it is super effective. Furthermore, the symbolic representation simplifies complex statements. This can help us reduce confusion on solving the problem. Lastly, we can practice with real-life examples. This can help students identify logical flaws and strengthen reasoning skills because real-life examples helps encourage critical thinking. It also can create memorable and meaningful moments of our life. That's all from me. Thank you.
From this presentation, we can conclude that the law of logic is used for analyzing and simplifying logical statements. This method will help students to determine logical equivalence, validate arguments, and develop clear and systematic reasoning. That's all from us. Thank you.